In today's day and age, it's easier than ever before to buy something because we're all essentially walking around with smartphones in our pockets. We're also being marketed to like never before. Go on social media and you are seeing advertisements. Turn your television on and you are seeing advertisements. Turn your radio on and you are hearing advertisements. Go walk around your local city centre and you are seeing billboards advertising to you. So basically, we've got all these messages coming in telling us that we need to buy these things. So it's quite understandable how people think to themselves that they need to buy things to be happy. But the truth is, you don't. And psychology actually backs this up. So let's talk about this in more detail. So for those that don't know, the hedonic adaptation is basically the idea that we all have a baseline level of happiness. And what tends to happen after positive and negative events is that we return to that baseline level of happiness. So for example purposes, if you get a new job, what will tend to happen is that you will feel good about yourself. You'll be on a high, you'll be buzzing. And then soon afterwards, let's call it days, weeks, the novelty wears off. It's the same when you buy things. When you buy things, you feel good initially. You feel high. And then days, weeks go by and again the novelty wears off. You return back to baseline. And this leads me perfectly onto the next point, and that is the joy that you experience is temporary. You know yourself when you buy new things, the feeling is never permanent, so it'll never bring you lasting fulfillment. One of the reasons why quote unquote shopaholics tend to buy all the time is because a lot of the times they're doing it to fill an emotional void. Maybe they're bored, maybe they're lonely, maybe they're stressed. There's something going on in their lives. Like if you actually look at it from a very logical point of view, who the hell needs 15 pairs of shoes? You have 2 feet. You can only wear a pair of shoes at one given moment in time. Obviously, this depends on how you're wired up, but there is an expression called keeping up with the Joneses, and basically, all it is a comparison game. If you buy something, I need to buy something that's bigger, better, and faster. So, for example, you might have 2 people living on the same street, and one neighbour has got a new kitchen. The other person who's playing the comparison game now has to get a bigger kitchen, not because they need it, but basically to outdo the neighbour. The same thing could be said about a car. The neighbour might have bought a car, so now they have to go out and buy a bigger, faster car. And again, not because they need it, but to outdo the neighbour. When you actually think about it, this kind of behaviour is pathetic. It really, really is. But it happens. And living like this will never truly make you happy because one, things don't make you happy, and two, it will probably end up with that person who's playing that comparison game being in a boatload of debt. A car is a perfect example of this. So is buying a house. Like, you're not just buying it once, they come with ongoing costs. Let's use a car, for example. You have to fuel it, you have to insure it, you have to maintain it. And let's just say, for example purposes, if you're somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck, which by the way is a lot of people, if that car breaks down, it's probably going to cause you a lot of stress. It's just something to think about. And in this video here, I talked about the benefits of having an old reliable car, especially the psychological benefits, because at the end of the day, nobody needs, keyword here is needs, a top-end sports car. The purpose of a car is to get you from A to B. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't even need to be mega expensive. This could be going go-karting with the kids, going out for a meal with your family or friends, going on a weekend away with a girlfriend or wife. If you want to buy happiness, you are better buying experiences rather than things. And the reason why this is because one, you create new memories, and number two, it's shared experiences that ultimately bring people together. From a happiness perspective, if I had a choice between spending a couple of grand on a watch or a couple of grand on a camping trip with family and friends, 9 times out of 10, I'm choosing the camping trip. So if you've made it this far in the video, you've probably come to the conclusion that buying things won't make you happy. And this ain't me just saying this. Studies back this up. And what studies show is that highly materialistic people, number one, tend to experience higher rates of depression. And number two, they tend to be less grateful for the things that they already have. So let's just put things into perspective. If you're somebody who has a roof over their head, access to running water, and the fridge full of food, then you're more blessed than you actually think. Sometimes in life, it's the simple things that bring you the most joy. For example purposes, seeing your kids smile for the first time. Money can't buy that. Building something with your hands so you get that sense of achievement. Contributing to a cause that means something to you. Those three things that I've just mentioned there, from a happiness perspective, will do more for you than buying things that you don't need. And what I've found in my own personal life is that the best things in life are either free or cost you next to nothing.